What's happening, guys? It's your girl Mina. Welcome back to my channel, man. You guys already know what it is. First and foremost, big up to everyone in the chat. Thursday afternoon vibes. We're coming with I told you that we were going to switch up. We're going to come with the afternoon content, and we're here live and direct. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. You guys know what it is. It's the growth. It's the growth here on the channel, bringing the content as always. Big up to everyone. If you're in the UK, only 2 hours left of fasting, so there's not long to go now. The finish line is close. Obviously, probably if you're in Africa, you've probably already broken your fast, and if you're in America, you've probably just started your day. Big up to everyone in the chat as always. Like I said, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to join the members club. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content as well. Today we are testing out 1080p. You guys have complained. Well, you haven't really complained, but people have suggested to try up the quality in the streams, and I already gave you my reasoning why I didn't do it and why it's quite inconsistent, but we're testing it out. So let me know what you lot think of the 1080p content here right now on the stream. You guys know what it is. Big up to everyone. As always, hope you're having a wonderful day. My day's been all right. It's raining here in the UK as per always, so nothing new here. It was actually quite sunny earlier on. Let me know how your day's going as well before we kind of dive in to the world of football and all of that stuff. I did a stream yesterday talking about the whole Marcus Rashford 75 million PSG possible move or possible interest, and the more that I think about it, I had to kind of bring it up again in this stream, because the more that I think about it, the more that I'm leaning actually against the idea of selling him for 75 million, just because I don't think that's the price that he's worth. I think he's definitely worth way more than that. Easily way. Anybody who says that Rashford is not worth 75 million or more, I think you're letting your dislike for Rashford just get a bit too in front of your eyes. That's it. Now, I've seen people saying take the 75 million, run, you'll never get a better offer than that. But in a world where United brought Anthony for 100 million euros, in a world where, Chelsea spent how much on Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Mudryk, Lavia, etc. In that world where all of those kind of transfers happen, Marcus Rashford can definitely go for a bigger price. Now, it's reported that United are moving steps closer to possibly agreeing or possibly moving for Olise at Crystal Palace. Now, I think that will depend. I think the move for Olise will depend on two stuff. It will depend on whether Anthony leaves more so than whether Rashford leaves. And if Anthony leaves and Sancho leaves, then I definitely see Olise coming in. Big up to Sancho, man of the match performance yesterday in the Champions League, scoring the goal to help Borussia Dortmund get through to the round. What is it? Quarterfinals now. It's now the quarterfinals. So big up to Jaden Sancho. Listen, I see this discourse flying around all the time. About Jaden Sancho, and especially over the last couple of days, I'm like, just let the boy play football. Let him play football. Let him enjoy the football. And then we reassess the situation come summertime. Because I've said this time and time again, I think a heavy part of whether Jaden Sancho stays is whether the manager stays. If the manager stays, if Eric Ten Hag stays, then Jaden Sancho will be gone. Jaden Sancho will be gone if the manager stays. Now, if the manager doesn't stay, I think there will be a conversation had with Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Omar Barada and whoever's brought in that senior operations role for Manchester United. I think there'll be a discussion there with Jaden Sancho, with his team, kind of deciding what they're going to do next. Because Ineos have essentially, in my opinion, they've inherited a situation where they've only seen it from a distance. They've not really been involved in it whilst it was happening. Of course, John Murto, Richard Arnold, etc. were there during the time. But in particular, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Omar Barada, whoever comes in under the Ineos structure, they will have, I think, a fresh opinion on it. Similar how they, in my opinion, I think the way that they're going to approach the Mason Greenwood situation. So I think the Jaden Sancho situation is a fresh thought process for Ineos to make a decision on that. They will have a fresh mindset and basically go off of A, what happened under him and Eric Ten Hag, but B, how he's been performing on his loan spell. Now, do I think he's going to stay at Manchester United? No, because if if Jaden Sancho was to be staying at Manchester United, especially in that Dortmund game, I'm going to show you lot a comp. We can watch a comp here together of that performance yesterday. But that game, he dominated, particularly in the middle of the park, the heart of the midfield, the heart of the attack, basically in that 10. That position belongs to Bruno Fernandes currently, and definitely for the, I think, foreseeable future. I don't want it to, but that's the situation that United are in. And I don't see unless Marcus Rashford leaves. I don't. The thing is, yeah, guys, can I just say, watch out for copyright. Don't worry, I will. I'm not trying to get demonetized or anything. Can I just say one thing, guys? Yeah, the most frustrating thing about all of this change at Manchester United right now, the most annoying thing about it all is that you just don't know what's going to happen with everything. Like, we actually don't know. I can't say I think Rashford fits into next season because I don't even know what's going to happen next season. We don't even know who's going to be the manager next season, and that's why I think there's some factors in United's squad that you can guarantee will be here next year, but then there's some factors that is very uncertain, and it might have a lot of variables. It might have a lot of variables that depend on what happens. It's like a domino effect. If Erik ten Hag leaves, then we know definitely, like, some people might stay, some people might go. But if Erik ten Hag stays, then we know definitely some people might leave, Jaden Sancho, etc. Can I just say that for sure, I know 100%, players like Donny van der Beek is gone. Players like Donny van der Beek are 100% gone. Big up to MUFC 14, been a member for 4 months. 4 months, that's serious, man. Big up. Says, I remember down tools Jaden winning a lot of these man of the matches versus Farmers Club. So let's get him back, extend his contract for 10 years, give him 1 million a week. I think MUFC is being sarcastic. Can I just say though, PSV ain't no Farmers Club. Put some respect on PSV and put some respect on, Champions League football. The only team I can say that really didn't really have a fight in them was Copenhagen, and that's embarrassing on our behalf because we lost to them. That's embarrassing on our behalf. They stunk up the round of 16. They should have even been there, but they were. PSV are a decent team. I wouldn't say they're Farmers Clubs. I definitely would not say that they're Farmers Clubs. They're definitely a decent team. But the thing is like, I will say one thing about, with Jaden Sancho. I just want him to enjoy football. I want him to play football with a smile on his face. And this is actually applicable for me to any player that is Manchester United, that is playing for Manchester United, signed to Manchester United, whatever. I just want them to enjoy playing. When people start enjoying playing football, then you kind of get the better of them. You saw that last year with Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford was enjoying playing football for a certain number of months. He was enjoying it, and you were getting the best out of him. He was playing football with a smile on his face. So that's what you want. That's what you want from players, to play football with a smile on their face. And I just want Jaden Sancho to do that, whether he does it at Man United, whether he does it at Dortmund, etc. I think more questions should be asked about, and this ain't about like Jaden Sancho in particular, but more so, hopefully this changes with, the new structure that comes in, and, this new situation that United find themselves under Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Hopefully it changes. But United have ruined quite a number of careers. And when I say ruined, I mean players have come to United, have had a dip in performance, left United and done better elsewhere. That's literally what's happened. And we can sit here and name a number of players like that, but that's what United have been over the last 10 years. I know a lot of people don't rate Di Maria, but I was told Di Maria wasn't good enough to play for United. Bro went on to win the World Cup. He won so much stuff after he left Manchester United. Memphis Depay, another player who I was told can't play for United, scored the winner for Atletico. Scored the goal that sent it to extra time for them. Shout out to Memphis Depay. Yesterday, I saw quite a few ex-United players on the Champions League stage. On the Champions League stage, obviously some of them didn't get through. Like Alexis Sanchez missed his penalty, but we won't talk about that. But the point is that you should, especially if United want to offload him. And when I say him, I'm talking about Jaden Sancho. You're gonna need him to play well. Now, he's been on loan for now, what, 2 months? January? Well, he left midish Jan. So February, March. Yeah. He's been on loan for about 2-ish months. Yeah. He's got a few goals, a few assists. Let him play football. This is what I don't understand yet. I could not want a player at United, but I would want them to do well elsewhere because that means it'll be easier to sell him. And I just don't get why people like fans just want to have a "I told you so" moment about players. Just let the guy play his football at Borussia Dortmund, come back in the summer, reassess the situation, because we don't even know where United will be heading in the summer. You know, style wise. You know, he might fit into the style of football that Ineos want to play. He might fit into that, and for that reason, they might consider keeping him. Has that ever crossed anybody's mind that could genuinely be, you know, a situation that United find themselves in where he fits the style of football that Ineos want to play, and so they might keep him? Now, I think there's a lot of other factors that play into it, such as, you know, maybe there might be a situation that they have the inability to offload his salary, etc. He's on big bucks. He's on big bucks. So there could be a situation, guys. Don't hold your breath, where Jaden Sancho stays at United, not because United want to keep him and not because he wants to stay, but they cannot offload his salary. And that is why performance matters. I want him to be winning man of the matches in Champions League. Go as far with Borussia Dortmund. Have good performances. Have good performances. Get yourself back into the England squad. The England squad was announced today, and I was so shocked. Honestly, I was so shocked, guys, when I saw the England team. Yeah, the England team announcement. Let me just get the list out here. Let me just get it out here. Yeah, because bro, I was shook. I was absolutely shocked. Look at this squad, guys. Look at this squad. And the reason why I'm saying I was shocked is not for any kind of like, I'm not saying I was expecting a Kobbie Mainoo, because, you know, Southgate's been very clear that he's going to slowly integrate Kobbie Mainoo into the team. I was just shocked that Marcus Rashford was in it for the season that he's been having. I was so shocked that Marcus Rashford. Now, of course, Marcus Rashford at Manchester United and Marcus Rashford at England, two different Rashfords. You're getting two different Rashfords because you don't start for England, so he can come off the bench, make that impact, and all of that stuff. But I was shocked. I was shocked because this is how you know, by the way, Southgate is a fraud. I don't like Southgate, can I just say that? I don't like him as a manager. He's a fraud, yeah? Because he always talks about form, players who play. Harry Maguire, you know, last year he was getting into the England team when he wasn't even playing. So we knew that Southgate was a liar in that instance. But some of these people, I'm like, Jordan Henderson, you can't, wallahi, yeah, Southgate cannot tell me he went to Saudi Arabia to watch a Jordan Henderson game before he left the Saudi and came back to Europe. He cannot tell me that. Maybe he's been to Amsterdam to watch Ajax. Maybe he's done that. But over the last 5 months, you can't tell me you went to Saudi to watch him. You can't tell me that. And you cannot tell me that Ross Barkley does not deserve a call-up. Now, regardless of the situation that Luton find themselves in, you can't tell me that Ross Barkley does not deserve a call-up. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. Excuse my language. But big up to Harry Maguire and Marcus Rashford, the two Manchester United players, of course, that got a call-up in that team. You know what? I don't really even care either, because it's just, what is it, friendlies against Belgium and Brazil. I'm not too kind of fussed about it. Even like with the whole Kobbie Mainoo thing, I'm not too fussed about it. Now, reportedly, Borussia Dortmund are interested in keeping Jaden Sancho at the club next season. They would like to keep him for another loan, reportedly. But it's previously been felt that the finances involved might restrict them from doing a deal on a full-time basis. However, Borussia Dortmund are keen to explore every avenue to keep Sancho for the 24-25 season. Could it be possible that Manchester United and Borussia Dortmund do a player swap plus cash? Could that be a possibility? Because I do remember in the January window, Manchester United were linked to Malen at Borussia Dortmund. Could it be possible that they will look to part ways with him in the hopes that they can get their hands on Jaden Sancho again? Now, if Borussia Dortmund somehow pull off a heist where they don't have to pay any sort of money or any sort of significant money for Jaden Sancho, Manchester United have been bumped twice with players. Once with Paul Pogba, once with Jaden Sancho. If they cannot redeem any sort of money, they have been bumped. And I'm not saying that they have to redeem big bucks. I'm not saying that. But United have to get at least something back from what they paid for Jaden Sancho. And that's why I keep saying, that's why I keep emphasizing, I guess, the importance for Jaden Sancho to perform well. For his own career, he needs to perform well for his own career to get back into that England squad. I mean, World Cup is next year. Would I want Jaden Sancho? Like, this is a question to you lot, and I'm going to give you lot my answer. Excluding what happened with Eric Ten Hag, would you want Jaden Sancho to stay at Manchester United? Just excluding what happened with Ten Hag, that little tussle, if you want to call it that. Because I would want Jaden Sancho too, but next season will be his 4th year at Manchester United. And I think how much impact has he had in those 4 years? It's been a roller coaster of a career for him at Manchester United. His first year was crap, excuse my language, because the manager that brought him in got sacked, and the manager even talked about it. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer talked about it in the overlap, where he was basically saying how they were trying to work on that Sancho deal for so long that by the time he actually came in, the style that they were going to play had changed because Ronaldo had come in that summer as well. So obviously, if you lot remember, before we brought Ronaldo in the summer, United were linked to Jaden Sancho the year before that. They couldn't strike a deal. By the time United eventually got their hands on Jaden Sancho, Ronaldo came in that summer as well. And what happened? The way that United were going to play completely changed, which meant there wasn't really a place for Jaden Sancho to find his feet. So that's what happened in that year. The second year, Eric Ten Hag, the second year Eric Ten Hag comes, Jaden Sancho goes away for half of the season, training away, etc. Third season, this year. That's it. That's it. And it makes me think, have we even seen Jaden Sancho and his technical abilities? Have we really seen it to the top of the top? I don't think so. However, this ownership or this new ownership that's coming, they might just want a clean slate. They might not want any baggage from prior situations, prior years. So they might look to offload the problematic situation. I'm not saying Jaden Sancho is problematic, by the way, but unfortunately, Jaden Sancho is always going to have people talking, whether it's the media. People are always going to talk about Jaden Sancho. He's a young black man making money, exiled from the first team. That's something to talk about. Big price tag. That is something for the media to talk about. So they might just look to be like, you know what? We're just going to part ways. Malin is another Eric Ten Hag money laundering signing for his son's agency. Bo says, no thanks. M. Shah says, Sancho wasn't that good at United. He can leave. King says, I want him back at United. Big up to Riri in the chat says no. Big up to Mike says no. I don't want anyone from Dortmund. None of them on Sancho's level. Royce is cold, but too old now. Yeah, Marco Royce is kind of past the stage of having Marco Royce in the chat. Be sure to hit the like button, guys. Be sure to subscribe. You guys know what it is, man. We're here with the daytime vibes. How long left? An hour and a half left until it's time to break fast. You know what the hardest thing about, guys? This is my first stream in the middle of the day during Ramadan. Yeah, the hardest thing is talking a lot and not drinking water. I respect anybody that was doing watch-alongs, that is doing long streams whilst they're fasting, because to do all this talking and not have water, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how the hell you do it. In some more positive news, I mean, is it positive news? I'm not too sure. If you lot remember the stream yesterday we did, we were talking finance, we're talking money, we're talking about the Q2 results, etc. But Sir Jim Ratcliffe the money that Sir Jim Ratcliffe pledged has been paid into the club, and some of it has been used to pay off 120 million of the revolving credit that Manchester United have. Now, at the end of Q2, Manchester United's credit was standing at around 773 million. So it should be less than that. It should be about 620 million. It should be around 620 million by the time that hits the books. In the financial accounts for them. So big up to Sir Jim Ratcliffe doing what so far he said. So far, as of right now, United's debt has reduced. Not by a lot, not by a lot. 150 is a lot, firstly. 150 million. I can't believe I just said 150 million is not a lot. If I had 150 million, you'd never see me here again. So United paid off 120 million of that debt, reducing their overall debt down to 653, which is not too bad. That's not too bad. It's definitely better than, you know, having debt that just continues to grow. Mina, do you think Sancho can fit with any manager that might come in? I will say one thing, yeah. We all know Jaden Sancho is a technical player. Now, depending on, I'll be honest, depending on the style of football that United want to play, that will be a very important decision, not just for Sancho, but for other players as to whether they will stay or not. Because one thing I've learned under Erik Ten Hag is a very prime example of needing players that are technically good, but also needing athletes. He wants people that run. Similar, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted the same thing. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted the same thing. That's why he said he liked players like Fred, McTominay, etc. Because these are players that run. Now, this season in particular, Erik Ten Hag has found himself in a situation where he's kind of drifted away from the technical type of players and just needs the engines, people that just run a lot. That's it. And that's why players like Amad Diallo hasn't got a chance. That is why I fully believe Amad Diallo has not got a chance under Erik Ten Hag, because he does all the technical stuff well, but the things out of possession, he doesn't do it well or to the level that the manager might want. And that's why I think he does the play. Should he be playing? Absolutely. But Sancho, and just like Amad, are players that thrive in a team that has possession. If you have possession, these players will thrive in that situation. And I think Jaden Sancho will only stay if Erik Ten Hag leaves and if he can fit into however it is that the team want him to play, or however it is that Ineos plan to play. The thing is, we don't know, as of right now, we don't know what this style of football is that United are going to be playing. We don't know what this style of football is. We don't know the style of football that United might want to play under you know, Eric, the new manager that might come in, or under Erik Ten Hag next season. We don't know what that's going to be. So until we do know that, that's the only way that I can be like, that player is going to stay, that player is going to go. But I think there's some players in particular, 100%, they are leaving. And the reason why I don't think I'm 100% on the idea of Jaden Sancho leaving is because I'm not 100% on the idea of Erik Ten Hag probably staying. I think that there is some variables that will still occur that could determine whether Erik Ten Hag stays. Do you lot think Erik Ten Hag's going to stay? That's what I want to know. Do you guys think Erik Ten Hag's going to stay? Because I think it's past the point of it being about where United finish in the league. Because I don't think Erik Ten Hag, I don't think United's finishing top 4 this season. And the reason why I don't think that, and I've said this ages, I've said this for a long time, by the way. I've said that once you rely on other people to drop points, and there's no certainty this season that United will pick up points in games. We go into games not knowing what's going to happen. So there's no certainty in that. That's when you've kind of screwed up. And that's why I feel very uncomfortable with, you know, predicting whether United might finish in top 4 this season or not, because I don't see it happening, because there's far too many situations that, you know, it's like, oh, if this person drops this many points and we get this many, too many if buts maybes. I see Erik Ten Hag staying, if the way that Ineos want to play, because it's been kind of reiterated time and time again that under Umar Barada and under Sir Jim Ratcliffe and you know, Dan Ashworth and everything that comes together under this new structure, they will decide the footballing style that will be played across Manchester United. So I expect, if it's possession-based football or attacking style football, I expect that footballing style to be implemented across all of Manchester United. That is the men's team, that is the women's team, that is across the academy age groups. That's what I expect. And that's quite similar actually to what Manchester City do. I know a lot of you lot might not watch women's football, but if you watch Manchester City women, they are quite similar in the way that they play. Obviously, there's a heap difference in the way of the managers, the two managers, but there are some identifiable similarities in the way that the women's play and the men's play. And I think that's what Ineos are trying to get. Oh, my laptop's about to die. I think that's what Ineos are going to try and implement too. Now, because of that, that is going to be interesting. That is going to be very interesting to me. I only see Erik ten Hag staying is if he's aligned with that. If he's aligned with that idea of the way they want to play football, and he's aligned with the idea of what they want the manager to do when it comes to recruitment. I think that is probably the biggest part, because, you know, United have been linked to so many, like United have been linked to quite a few players, and a lot of them, the major similarity that they have, that they are Premier League players, yeah? I have not, under Erik ten Hag, I have not seen once United linked to a Premier League player over the last 2 years. I haven't seen it. I've seen maybe, I think it was Paulinho, but that was not really much in it. There wasn't really much in it. But now, the biggest names that I'm hearing outside of, you know, someone like Todibo is Branthwaite and Olise. That's the two main names I've been hearing, centre-back and attacker, winger. If Manchester United want to bring in a player like Olise, and they don't, and Erik ten Hag doesn't want them to, I think that's where they kind of clash. I think there'll be a clash of situation there. Honestly, that's so for me. Is those two situations will outline whether Erik ten Hag stays. I don't think it's going to be about results. I don't think it's going to be about where Manchester United finish in the top in the top 6 or the top 4 or whatever. I genuinely think it will be the style of football that they want to play, whether Erik ten Hag will be happy to do it, and it's, you know, it doesn't, because he's Erik ten Hag, the manager that under Ineos will have to be a yes man manager. It will have to be the kind of manager who is a yes man. And what I mean by that, I mean that it's not someone that can, I'm not saying they have to be a pushover or anything, but really and truly, they're going to have to come in and implement something that the club have already decided. So they're going to have to come in with a style of football. They will be able to obviously have their ideas and have fresh ideas, but they won't be able to come in and be like, I'm playing this style of football, so I need these kind of players. The blueprint is going to be laid out for them already, and they're going to have to come in and work with it and, you know, kind of, you know, spice it up a little bit in their own way, but the blueprint will remain the same. And I think maybe that is where maybe Erik ten Hag might not agree with. Now, this is just me making assumptions and me trying to think of all the possible situations that could happen this summer. But yeah, that's just my point of view. Mason Mount. Is Mason Mount a Ten Hag signing? I can't lie. I felt like he was a club signing. I can't lie. I felt like he was a club signing. I don't know why, but I just genuinely feel like he was a club signing. Of course, Erik ten Hag kind of reiterated quite a few times that he wanted him. I think he's just saying it. And the reason why I don't understand how United ended up with Mason Mount is because the midfielders that we were, I don't know if you lot remember, but the midfielders that we were tracking over last summer and the summer before that, all different. They are all different types of midfielders. So I don't know how you go from one summer wanting Frankie de Jong to the next summer wanting Mason Mount and getting Mason Mount. I think Mason Mount was accessible. Premier League player. It's a player that the manager actually wanted before. I know that the manager liked him when he was on loan at Vitesse. Shout out to Mount, because he was on loan with my friend as well, who was at Vitesse together. So I know the manager liked him at Vitesse, where he had actually a decent season before. I think he went to Derby after that on loan. So it's not like the manager didn't know who he was, but I think young player, Champions League winner, English player, they need the homegrown player. They need to make that homegrown. They need to hit that criteria for homegrown talent. It was cash money. That was cash money. That's why. That's the thing. And also his dad is a United fan. Can I just say, like, I said this yesterday, and I'm gonna reiterate it again. That article by that guy, that Luckhurst guy, I didn't read it in full. I'm not giving him my click. I saw some of the quotes, and I just don't get how, bro, the guy hasn't had a chance to actually play. And you lot know this has been my stance on Mason Mount all season. Some of you guys don't like Mason Mount. Some of you have said you don't need to see him play. You don't need to see him play to know that he's not good. Okay, cool. But I said I am not going to say whether he's good until I see a fair run of games of him playing to see whether he fits into this team. That's when I'm going to be like, all right, cool. Because I think it's quite unfair to judge a player based on minimal time that he's played this season. The guy hasn't played. I think, when was the last time he played? When was the last time he played? I can't even remember the last time he played. Let's check out Transfer Market. You know, me and Transfer Market is best friends. Whatever I'm doing researches for, like videos that I'm doing, me and Transfer Market are good friends. By the way, on that note, guys, I'm dropping a video tomorrow. Be sure to check it out. That's all I have to say. Be sure to check it out. When you see the thumbnail, you will be like, oh, this looks interesting. Luton was the last game that he played. Luton was the last game, 11-11 in the Premier League. That was the last game he played. He played 50 minutes. And overall this season, all competitions, the guy's played 12 games. How can we actually judge him on 12 games where he's barely played? I think he played 90 minutes. He's played 190 minute. He's played out of those 12 games in all competitions, he played 190 minute, which was against Newcastle. So please, guys, let's not be harsh. Let's not be harsh on judging him based on those 12 games. Do I think United should have signed him? No, because I said it. The going from Dion Wan-Sama to Mason Mount is jokes. And you know what it is? I feel like United always get kind of pump faked. If you don't know what pump fake is in basketball, is when you do a fake shot and then someone jumps by and then you go for the actual shot. I feel like United are always getting pump faked by other teams in the Premier League. They did it with Ronaldo. Now, I will be honest with you lot. This might be very controversial, yeah. I don't regret United signing Ronaldo one bit. Because that brought me joy for a couple months. I'm not gonna lie, I don't regret it. Could I wished it worked out better? 100%. But that day, yeah, when I saw the notification of Fabrizio Romano saying that Ronaldo might be coming to the thing, and then here we go. I don't think I've ever felt an excitement like that from probably when we signed Pogba. I'm not gonna lie. Shoot me for that. I don't know, man. I'm just giving out information for free. Like, why am I telling you lot this? Let me open this to the floor. Do you guys regret United signing Ronaldo? You can't tell me that season, despite the highs and the lows, yeah, it wasn't some thrilling moments because of Ronaldo. Now, his time under Erik ten Hag, that was absolutely abysmal. Like, that was draining. But the year before that, in his game, when he first game back, you telling me that Pogba, Ronaldo, Bruno, Varane, oh my God. I was so gassed. And you know what, yeah? I was trying to get tickets for that game. And I remember my cousin, shout out to my cousin. My cousin had tickets for that game, said to me, do you want to come? But something came up, so I couldn't go to the game. So I said, my bad. I was like, I can't make it. So he gave my ticket away. To someone else. And then we signed Ronaldo. Anyways, it is what it is. I don't know why I just ended up going down a wormhole for no damn reason. Big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Big up to Pyramid Scheme. I know a staunch hater, absolute staunch hater of Mason Mount. Pyramid Scheme runs the association that hates on Mason Mount. But big up to Pyramid Scheme. Says, Mina, make it make sense. So if a student misses a whole school year, do we give them a pass or fail them? You get extenuated. What's it called? What's it called when at uni, man? When something's happening in life and you might need an extension on your classes. Extenuating circumstances. That's what it's called. I only ever in my life in university, I only applied for that once. But extenuating circumstances, that's a thing. If a student misses a whole school year because he's sick, then you might get the opportunity to sit your exams at a later date. Come on, man. Come with a better sort of comparison. Come with a better one. I do think it's harsh with Mason Mount. I really do think it's just unfortunate. It's just very, very unfortunate for me with Mason Mount's situation. Now, United could have simply saved 60 million. Now, are we even going to see him this season? I'm not even buying it from Erik ten Hag. Can I just say that? I am not buying it from Erik ten Hag when he keeps saying, oh, Mason Mount's going to be available in a couple of weeks. Of course, now we see... I don't know if you lot remember, February, January, Mason Mount was the topic of discussion in pretty much every sort of press conference. And the manager kept saying, yep, he's, training in the gym, we'll be back on the pitch soon. It's not only until now, mid-March, that he's finally back on the pitch, recovering from this mysterious kind of calf injury or whatever this injury he has, whatever it is, yeah, I don't even know if we might still see him after the international break. I don't even know because who's to say he might not get another injury, especially with the way that players get injured at United. And that's one of my biggest worries as well. The way players get injured at United after coming back from an injury, it's like it's always they're guaranteed to get re-injured all the time. Lisandro Martinez, Christian Eriksen, who else? Rasmus Højlund. Of course, there was a big gap between when he was injured and when he got re-injured again. But it always seems that players get injured. Luke Shaw, players at United this season, after they come back off a long injury, they come back, they get re-injured again in a couple games. And that's what I'm worried about with Mason Mount, because we might really never get to see the full extent of what possible impact he could have, or what possible involvement he could have in the team. And I know you lot don't want to hear that. I know people don't want to hear that, but I think that's legit. I think that's legit. Also, Lisandro Martinez, injury prone, uncomfortable conversations. I don't know if injury prone is the term that I would use. I'm not too sure if injury prone is the term that I would use. Is that the term you guys would use? Because until around this time last year when he got injured in the Sevilla game, he never really had big injuries at Ajax. He never really had big injuries. And maybe that's more of a question to be asked to our medical staff. Why someone like Lisandro Martinez can come back from injury after some time out and just get re-aggravated so quickly. Look at this, guys. Let's look at his injury record. Oh my days. He's missed more games this season than he has ever missed in his entire career combined. Let's do the maths, yeah? Let's do the maths, guys. 12 plus 11, that's 23, 24, 25. He missed 25 games in his entire career up until this season. He missed 25 games combined. This season alone, he's missed 32 games. Meaning over half of the games that he has missed this season, over half of the games that he's missed in his career has been this season. Now, let's look at the injuries he's had. Hamstring injury, 1 game in what was it, Argentina? That's on international duty. I bet 2020, 2021, he missed 1 game at Ajax. The following season, he missed 1 game at Ajax with an unknown injury. The following season after that, this is the year before he joined United. Yeah, this is the year before he joined Manchester United. He missed 10 games due to a muscle injury. Fast forward, last year, he missed 12 injuries, metatarsal. Sorry, guys, if you can hear the vibration on my phone. He missed 12 games because of a metatarsal fracture. Obviously, that's from last year, Sevilla game. This year, foot injury, he missed 22 games. And then again, knee injury, he's missed 10 games so far. That is a combination of... Hold on, guys. I'm just trying to do the maths in my head. 2, 30, 25. 57 is so much pressure, guys, doing maths on screen, 57 games that he's missed across the course of his career. How many years is that? That's about 4 years. That's at 1, 2, 3, 5 years. 5 years. Across 5 years, he has missed 57 games, and more than 50% of that has been this season. That has just been this season alone. That is scary. I don't know if the term injury prone is for it, because it's more like, why are players getting injured all the time? That's what my question kind of falls to, is what is going on behind the scenes with Manchester United and the medical staff and this is the same medical staff, by the way, that misled Erik ten Hag. That is the same medical staff that misled him and told him Malacia will be ready for Christmas, and so will Luke Shaw. I don't know what Christmas they've been talking about. They might have been talking... I think maybe Erik ten Hag misunderstood. Maybe they meant Christmas next year. Maybe they meant the Christmas at the end of this year, because there's no way medical staff should be allowed to get away with that. That also shows the incompetencies of, backroom staff at Manchester United, because there's no way that they should be allowed to get away with that. Misleading the manager and saying the player will be back by X date. And that's never going to happen. And that has put the team in a messed up situation. That has put the club in a messed up situation, and also puts the manager in a bad situation. And that's why I genuinely believe that. And I genuinely believe that Erik ten Hag and, Manchester United would never have sent Reguilon back if they knew this was not the case. If they knew that Luke Shaw would have injury issues, if they knew Malacia would be out all season, I genuinely don't think that the club are that negligent to send a player back on loan. Back from loan, sorry. I don't think so. Nah, they meant Eid Mina. Stop talking about Eid, guys. Stop it. Stop it. Same medical staff that misdiagnosed Pogba. No, I thought, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought Manchester United got a new medical doctor last year. Man United medical doctor. I'm pretty sure Gary O'Driscoll, the new Manchester United head of sports medicine, started in September 23. He's taken up the role as the head of sports medicine for Manchester United, overseeing... What's he overseeing? He's overseeing all medical activity across the men, women's, and academy teams. He joined from Arsenal. I do remember where he was at for 14 years. That is... Could we fully blame him? I don't know. But I think it's more... I don't know. Like, I think it's a bit harsh to be like, it's all his fault. It's all his fault. Be sure to hit the like button, guys. It just come through. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. You can join the membership club. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content, and of course you get to support the growth of the channel as a full-time content creator. You can send in super chats with your comments, with your thoughts, with your opinions, with your questions, just to support the channel and just because you want to. Simple as that. Big up to everyone in the chat as always. I don't think, by the way, it's, targeted sabotaging by this doctor. I don't think so. I do think it is the negligence on the medical team's part for them to, authorize a player to go back because X player will be back in time, etc. Also, by the way, this is the same, if I'm not wrong, this will be the same medical staff, not the doctor, but the same medical staff that was authorizing, people like Marcus Rashford to be playing through injections for how many years? You lot are probably going to be like, Mina, stop defending Marcus Rashford. But also, guys, I genuinely think, like, when I watch Marcus Rashford, I feel like he pulls out of a lot of 50-50s, yeah? And doesn't even try to go into it because I think he's actually scared to get injured again. I genuinely think he's scared to get injured again. He was playing with that shoulder injury. Like, he had shoulder surgery when? How long ago? He was meant to have surgery years ago. He was taking injections under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for how long? For how long? Now he's got a rib condition, apparently. He's got, like, broken ribs, or he's been playing through some broken rib problem. I don't know. But Marcus Rashford, to me, similar to people like Anthony Martial, like, I don't want to give away the video that's coming out today, but the video that I was recording today required me to watch and put in some Anthony Martial clips. And all I could think was, bro, we ruined this guy. We drove this guy into the ground. He was robbed. I don't know if it's controversial to say, but 2018 World Cup team, he was robbed of an opportunity to go there. Not saying he would have started, but he was robbed of an opportunity. Of course, that's the year where he had beef with Jose Mourinho, so he weren't really playing. But when I watch clips of 19, 20, 21-year-old Martial, I just think, bro, what? How is he in this situation? And on top of that, how has he been at Manchester United for 9 years? 9 years. 9 years. It's actually quite unfortunate. Anthony Martial is another player. Like, I know exactly. I remember where I was when I watched his debut. I was in Toronto, yeah. I went crazy when he came on and scored against Liverpool, yeah. I was watching these clips thinking, people now might watch Martial and think this guy was not good. But he is another example of someone that has been run into the ground and then he's not been defended when it came to when he wasn't performing, because it was something he spoke about in an interview I watched. Sorry, in an interview I read that he did a couple years back with French press, where he was talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And he said basically, like, I was playing through injury, playing through injections where I was in so much pain, but the manager kept saying that he needs me. So I was playing through the pain. And then he said, when I went on to, start performing badly, the manager never came out to defend me. He never defended me in the media, and I kind of felt bad for him in a way, because this is players that kind of put a lot on the line for clubs, for players. Now, of course, you're getting rewarded for it, but the long-term impact, when all is said and done and you walk away from football, the mental and physical impact of those injuries that you played through, it might never make a player the same. And you guys might be like, Mina, you're making excuses. But sometimes I like to look at things objectively. I like to look at things from a bird's eye view, where you take a step back and remove yourself as just like a big Manchester United fan, and just look at the player as a Manchester United player, but look at them as a person as well. Because at the end of the day, that's what footballers are. Before they are footballers, they are people. They are humans, just like everyone else. Of course, they're making guap. I ain't making guap, but they're making guap. Guap is money, by the way, for people that don't know what that means. So, of course, but at the end of the day, they're humans. Physically, they can't handle things to a certain extent. Mentally, they might not able to, etc., etc. Anthony Martial is just another example of medical negligence. He was a guy that was so good, and now the brother can't even play 90 minutes. I can't remember the last time I watched Anthony Martial play 90 minutes. I can't remember that. It's very unfortunate sometimes when I really think about it. And it kind of put into perception for me today when I was editing this video that's coming out tomorrow. It's very sad. It's actually very, very sad. Big up to Riri, been a member for 3 months, said that medical team would get sued here in the US. I just don't get, like, it really blows my mind. Yeah. It really blows my mind how the medical staff have kind of got away with that. Big up to Dipesh in the chat, says, hope your fast go well, Mina, and anyone observing in the chat, big up, big up. I appreciate it. We helped ruin lots of players. The players themselves did the rest. That could be the case. That could definitely be the case. That could definitely be the case. Like, at the end of the day, when it comes to players' careers at Manchester United, I can definitely say that there's not one contributing factor. And I think a debate could be had, like, with certain players as to who had the bigger contribution to the downfall of their career at Manchester United. So, you know, when we talk about players like, for example, Paul Pogba, some could argue a big part of it is the club. And then other people might argue a big part of it is actually Paul Pogba himself. Some people might say it was his agent. Like, I think when we look at, and that's why I encourage you to look at just the situation as a whole. When we're looking at the players that have failed at Manchester United or have had poor outcomes in their career whilst at Manchester United, there's multiple contributing factors, and it can be true. Like, both of it can be true. Some of it can be the club, some of it can be the player. You know, I look at someone like Di Maria. Di Maria didn't help himself. But from day dot, it looked like him and the manager did not want to, like, work together. That's what it seemed like. Him and the manager never kind of understood each other. So that also falls on the club. If Di Maria was a player that Louis van Gaal never wanted, why'd you sign him? Real Madrid just wanted to get rid of him. Why'd you sign him? So that could be like another example. Someone like Romelu Lukaku, who I really thought when we brought Lukaku, like, I was like, yeah, that's it. United finally got their number 9. Didn't really work out to the extent that we hoped it to be. But again, who's at fault? Arguments can be had for both sides of the story. And I think that is the case with everyone. You know, you look at Martial. Van der Beek is one that I just think is solely on the club. Like, honestly, I genuinely think Van der Beek might be the one out of all of them that was just a bad move from the club, because Ollie never wanted him. Ollie never ever wanted him. Never saw how he was going to fit into the club. And United just went and brought him for no reason. So Van der Beek might be one of the few, I would say, out of the players that have just had bad outcomes at the club that was really on the club, rather than anything else. Too many excuses for mediocre players, in all honesty. Sentiment kills this club. Damn, Differ's coming in harsh. That's the thing, is like with Real Madrid, yeah. One thing I'll say with clubs like Real Madrid, like, when it's time to move on, they'll move you on. They don't care how much, like you've done a lot for them, but they'll move you on when they have to. Di Maria, Ozil, Ronaldo, Benzema, Casemiro, Varane, Sergio Ramos, bro, Marcelo. When it's time to go, it's time to go. Like, you've overstayed your welcome. you hit the road. You know, you look at now this season, Luka Modric. I really like the way Ancelotti always talks about Luka Modric in the press conferences, because he's always like, oh, you know, there was a game where he didn't bring him on. You know, Real Madrid were winning, he didn't bring him on for the last couple of minutes. And you know what Ancelotti said? Ancelotti said it would be disrespectful to me to make him warm up to play 2, 3, 4 minutes in a game. That would be disrespectful on his career, because he's a legend. He's a legend of this club. And then he's always very, I don't know if you ever watch Ancelotti's press conferences, but he's always a bit like, I don't know if he's acting emotional. But he's always like, oh, you know, it really hurts me to do this. It really hurts me to leave him on the bench, because obviously he's not been really playing that much. And he's very much like, when it's time for you to not be part of the team, your time comes. It don't matter how many Champions League you won, how many league titles you won, Ballon d'Or, whatever you've won whilst you've at the club. When it's time to be moved on, you will be moved on. And I think that's where maybe that's where United's shortcomings are. Because, you know, this idea with Marcus Rashford, I know people that don't want to sell him because he's a Manchester-born product. Simple as that. I know people that solely for that reason, they don't want to get rid of him. But I don't think that's enough of a reason. I think there has to be other contributing factors relating to football as to why you might want to keep him. Now, if Rashford was at Real Madrid, bro, they would have shipped. If that was Rashford had come up through Madrid's academy, and this is just hypothetical, they would have sold him a long time ago, I think they would have sold him ages ago. But Manchester United do like the idea of sentiment, and it was very evident with, you know, many players. You know, players like, I think, Adnan Januzaj, who just, you know, I was so gassed for. Oh, Adnan Januzaj is another player that came through United's academy that I was so gassed for. And that didn't work out. That did not work out. But he's another player that, you know, United held on to him for a bit too much time. With the idea of he will be a star. Big up to We Deserve Better says Rashford is better than what we have at this club. I don't know about when it comes. The thing is, yeah, I hate talking about the idea of players having like pure talent. I don't like the idea of pure talent, talking about pure talent, because having pure talent is nothing when you're doing nothing with it. It makes no sense to have all that talent and all that ability and you do nothing with that. Now, the only thing with Rashford is, I said this last season, when Benny McCarthy and Eric Ten Hag came in, I said that Rashford looked different because for once I felt like he was actually being coached to be a forward. Whereas, you know, previous managers outside of Louis van Gaal, I don't really think that he was coached. That guy's played everywhere. He's played inconsistently across the front line. Maybe over the last 2 or 3 years, he's played consistently or more often or not on the left-hand side. More often or not, he's played on the left-hand side. But for me, it's like, you can't always have that to fall back on. It's not good enough. It's not good enough to be like, oh, he has a ceiling. That's not good enough. At the age of what Rashford is now, ceiling ain't enough. Because that ceiling should have come crashing down on you a long time ago, and you should have turned into Hulk. Because that ceiling is, having a high ceiling at the age of 26 is nothing. It's nothing. Because you're never going to break that ceiling. You're never going to break it at the age of 26. Having a high ceiling at 19, 20, 21, that's good. And someone just said it here in the chat. Here it is. Rashford is a senior player who's still raw. Only United is that possible. Exactly that. And I always wonder, imagine Rashford had come in maybe at this stage. Imagine Rashford came through the academy at this age. Or maybe if he had come through the academy at early stages, you know, before Sir Alex Ferguson retired, the trajectory of his career might have turned out completely different. But he ended up in I was about to swear, but I don't want to. He ended up in a situation where it's just like vomit, basically. Someone vomits up a manager, give that manager a chance, don't work out, wipe it up, vomit again, new manager, and that's literally it. How many managers has Rashford had? Van Gaal, Jose, Ollie. I'm not counting interims, guys. But Ollie, caretaker in Ragnick, Eric Ten Hag. That's 5 managers. That is 5 managers across however many, 8, 9 years. That's a lot. And at this age, I don't know. Do you guys, for 75 million for Rashford, take it or leave it? Do you take it or leave it? Because I can't lie, I'm kind of on the fence about it. I did say this. I did say that I'm kind of on the fence about it. It makes sense to me if they were to sell Bruno and Rashford. Both cannot be sold in the same window. They both cannot be sold in the same window. I think it's going out, and from a financial standpoint, selling Rashford makes more sense for the club. From a commercial standpoint, maybe it doesn't, but I'm not here to talk about commercial stuff and all of that. I'm never going to use that as part of the argument. But just from a selling point, it makes more sense for them to sell Rashford because that's 100% profit. He's probably easier to offload. 26 years old, still has a number of years. You know, this should be the years of his prime age of football. Like, this is his prime age of football. So it makes more sense. Bruno, 30, it'll be more difficult to offload. I think with Bruno, it might be one of them ones where Saudi might be the only place that he'll probably go at best. And that's no disrespect to him or anything. But Rashford, you know, there's teams possibly sniffing around for him. The idea of it, I'm just not too sure. I definitely think he's worth more than, like I've said this, I definitely think he's worth more than 75. He's to me, he's worth more than 75. Another player who I don't see going to Saudi, and it was actually reported today that Varane is looking to take a pay cut to stay at Manchester United for another 2 years. And if that happens, I will be over the moon. I will be so happy because I want Raphael Varane to stay. He did say last year, I remember, he did say last year that the only place that he'd probably go is Madrid or Lens or Manchester United. That's the 3 teams that he will retire at. And so for that reason, I don't see him going to Saudi. He gives me the vibe. He kind of gives me the vibe that he's a man of his word, in it, Raphael Varane. So I do kind of see him either staying at United next season or maybe going to Lens and just retiring there. He's only, how old is he? He's not even of retirement age. He's not even at retirement age. That's one thing I don't understand. Raphael Varane should still be playing. He should. Obviously, he probably, you know, situations is different, and you know his injury problems could be a contributing factor to that. But when you just look at it from a like a I don't want to say from a bird's eye view because I've already said that a few times. But when you look at that, when you look at the stats, you look at what he's won, his abilities, age, he should not be retiring at this age. He should still be playing top flight. It's very unfortunate. 75 million for Rashford is a steal, and nobody outside of Saudi is bidding that for him. Do you want to reject 75 million to still have Rashi at the club next season? No, I just want United to negotiate better and get a better fee for him. 75 million, I think they're underhitting to kind of test the waters. Because I've said it, guys, so many times. In a world where I've seen Mudryk go for 100 million, Rashford has to go for more than that. You know what I saw? I saw the craziest comparison. I don't want to use the word crazy. I saw the most absurd comparison, yeah? Somebody posted a video of Lewis Nani. You guys know how much I love Nani. You lot know how much I love Lewis Nani. He's my favorite. He's one of my favorite Manchester United players of that generation, yeah? And you lot are probably thinking, what? Like, in a time where people like Rooney, Ronaldo, Scholes, etc. Bro, Lewis Nani, for me, one of my favorite players, yeah? One of my favorite players. I saw someone saying that Lewis Nani does not even lace Marcus Rashford's boots. And you know what's funny? You know what makes me laugh about that? Is that the criticisms that Lewis Nani was getting back then is nothing near what Rashford gets right now. Lewis Nani was told that people were saying he's going to live forever in Ronaldo's shadows. And I think that's the biggest downfall of his career, is that too many people expected him to be the Ronaldo replacement when he was nowhere near that. Ronaldo was a freak at his age. He was a freak player. He was never going to be a Ronaldo replacement. But I've seen discourse surrounding this whole Lewis Nani versus Rashford debate, which to me it's a weird one because they're two different players. Yeah, firstly, they are two different type of playing styles. But for me, Lewis Nani didn't get anywhere near the number of excuses that Marcus Rashford got. Furthermore, any player across that time of Sir Alex Ferguson, when they were not playing, there was no excuses. They were getting ripped apart. They were getting criticized. The only difference is now we live in the era of YouTube being big. We live in the era of social media, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all of that sort of stuff. So the criticism is a lot more accessible, but I watched pundits, criticizing Lewis Nani 2010, 2011. I remember when Ronaldo left, and there was a whole discourse that summer when Ronaldo left Real Madrid, and they were like, is this the year Lewis Nani is going to step up? He was never going to be Ronaldo's replacement. But to say that he can't even lace Rashford's boots, or talking about, I've seen the discourse about goals, contributions, and all of that stuff. Lewis Nani was not an inside forward like Rashford, because we did not play with those kind of wingers. Rashford's whole idea, for me, not gonna lie, I think is to get goals. It's to get goals. Sometimes maybe get assists, but he, especially over the last 2 seasons or 3 seasons, is to try and get on the score sheet. And that's why people call him sometimes greedy, because he might miss an opportunity to play a pass and will rather go for goal. But to compare the two of them, to me, that is absurd. That is absurd, because this might be a bit of a bit of a wild take, but Rashford wouldn't survive in that Sir Alex Ferguson team the way Lewis Nani did. Is that crazy? Is that wild for me to say that? Is that wild for me to say that? Lewis Nani, for me, felt like he had all the flair. He might not have been the greatest finisher, but he was the dribbler, the speed. The only thing he did similar to Rashford is sometimes his decision making was not that great. But for me, Lewis Nani, I remember watching him on Rio Ferdinand's podcast, made me laugh so much. Him and Evra's relationship just made me laugh so much. But I just genuinely don't understand how people compare the two, because they are not remotely the same. They are not remotely the same in ability, in skill, in flair, in contribution, all of that stuff. Marcus Rashford is a better goal scorer than Lewis Nani, 100%. 100%. But they played in 2 different roles, or 2 different positions, and in 2 different eras where I would say the standards were different. I would say Marcus Rashford wouldn't get away with what has happened over the discourse of his, like, the course of what has happened over the course of his career. He would not have gotten away with it had he been part of that era of Manchester United football. Then he would have got sold. I genuinely think he would have got sold, or he would not have been as bad as he has been, for example, this season. He would not have been that bad. It's as simple as that. He probably would have been a lot better under Sir Alex Ferguson. But, you guys know what it is, man. That's just all if, buts, or maybes. Big up to everyone in the chat, man. You lot know what it is, man. I'm coming with the daytime streams. Tomorrow, video dropping. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. I told you, I'm putting more effort into making videos as much as doing live streams. So I really hope that you lot check out the video. You guys like it. You guys subscribe. You guys comment. All of that stuff helps the algorithm. As that's the most common term. That I hear all the time. Big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Less than an hour left here in the UK before it's time to break fast. I've just spoken for a whole hour straight. I can't wait to drink some water, man. Big up to everyone. Like I said, man, I'll be back tomorrow evening with a stream Liverpool preview. Ugh, I don't even want to think about that. Man. Ugh. Liverpool preview, FA Cup, and then obviously streams across the weekend. We got a vibe along. We're back, vibe along for the women's team. As always, we are back on Sunday, 11:55 a.m. UK time. Don't miss it. And then we'll be back later on that evening after I break my fast, all of that stuff, to talk about the Liverpool and Manchester United FA Cup game. So big up to everyone. Like I said, if you're watching this back, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. You get to support me, support the growth of the channel as a full-time content creator, man. You don't know what it is. Hit the like button on your way out. And until next time, guys, it's your girl, Mina. Peace.